We'll also continue our review of the 2019 general elections, and I have with me in the studio Mr. Buba Galadima, who is chairman, he says, of the Reformed All Progressives Congress, even though we're not sure if that is a registered political party. He is the spokesperson of the presidential candidate of the PDP. We're also expecting in the studio Dr. Beg your pardon now, I'm trying to quickly get his name for you. We're expecting Dr. Garba Nguru, who is a political analyst. Sadly, he's yet to be here. We're still hoping that he'll join us as this conversation goes on. But, Mr. Galadima, you were talking about people begging. I mean, yes, there were a lot of people who asked the presidential candidate of the PDP not to go to court. They believe that a precedent had been set during 2015, that it wasn't like as if all was well with that election, but for the sake of peace and for the sake of Nigeria, they felt that, you know, it would have been better for him not to go to court, so that, you know, that is not misconstrued or that violence doesn't break out in some ways. You didn't see any reason at all?
So you mean going to court and seeking for somebody's rights will trigger violence?
You know Nigeria better than I do. You have lived here far longer than I have. From your experience as a politician and from what you have seen, from your experience in the 2015 elections, did you think then that if President Goodluck Jonathan had said he was going to court, what would have been the reaction on the streets then? Or you think that the situations are different?
There wouldn't have been any reaction. We had gone to court before. General Buhari was in court in 2003, 2007, and 2011. The heavens didn't fall. It wouldn't have fallen when if Jonathan had decided to go to court. And he could have successfully triumphed because of what had happened eventually from the rulings of the Supreme Court on Rivers and Akwa Ibom. So, in fact, with the benefit of hindsight, I thought Jonathan shot himself on the foot.
Some people say he was the hero of our, or he is the hero of our democracy.
Of course, that was by choice.
You don't agree with the people who
that
say
was by choice.
the hero of our democracy?
That is democracy. I'm a Democrat.
Do you agree with them?
I say I am a Democrat. Everybody is entitled to his own opinion.
It's not quite an answer to my question.
It is.
Do you agree with the people who call President
I don't
a
need to or not agree with them. Because they are entitled to their own opinion, and we should respect their opinion.
Oh, of course you don't have to agree, but I just need to know whether you agree or don't.
Don't bother yourself with my own opinion. I had expressed it at that time.
I believe that you're here to express your opinion on
Of course I did.
matters.
I do that, and you know that I speak my mind straight.
Okay. Now that you're speaking your mind, you know, you have said that your candidate did not lose the elections. And yesterday, we spoke with Mr. Segun Showumi, and I asked him what happened in his own polling unit. Were the elections rigged also in his own polling unit?
You mean one polling unit out of 129 southern polling units will determine what is right or what is wrong or what had happened or not happened across Nigeria? Are you fair to the system?
I'm only asking you a question. Was it rigged as well?
No, I'm just telling you that if I tell you that it's okay, my polling unit, there was no rigging, that suggests that there wasn't such in other polling units across the country.
The reason why I asked
it's
you
not
this,
fair.
you have alleged that the elections, there was daylight robbery, it was totally fraudulent. The picture we get is that in no polling unit in this country were free and fair elections conducted, and that your candidate could not have lost, it would seem, in any polling unit across the country.
You see, Mope, there are certain things you overlook. Elections are not really what happens during queuing and voting alone. Election could be rigged even before the election day.
Was that what transpired?
And elections could be rigged even after votes were counted at the polling units, between the polling unit and the ward collecting center elections could be rigged. And the elections could be rigged between the ward collection center and the local government collection center.
Yes.
And between the local government collection center and the state collection center. And also between the state collection centers and the federal collecting center.
Yes, you criticize.
Let me just tell you, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. In Kano, Gama Ward, there was a successful election. Collections were made at the polling booth level. Collections were made at the ward level. At the local government level, hoodlums, led by the deputy governor of that state, came to the collection center and told the results. But because it suited INEC to declare the election in Kano inconclusive, they now awarded medal to the deputy governor for the brigandage and the thuggery he has done by not coming to collect results of the election from the polling booth that were collected at the ward level, which were in the hands of security forces, including the DSS, the police, the civil defense, and this unit of police, SBI, or what do you call them, and party agents, and reconstruct those figures and announce the results. Just because the INEC in Kano or the REC officer in Kano was working in tandem and in connivance with the Kano state government.
That's another allegation that you have.
Is that an allegation that the elections?
I think it's extremely important that you. No, sir, I have to say.
Is it not in the public domain?
It's extremely important that
I say, is it not in the public domain?
You take responsibility for the words.
Is that not in the public domain?
That you make as you have.
If anybody says,
allege connivance between the resident electoral commissioner and the government of Kano State,
electoral commissioner.
I think the onus is on you to show proof, sir.
I'm coming. Do you mean that the electoral commissioner does not know the rules of INEC?
Sir, with due respect,
if he deliberately refuses to adhere to the rules of INEC that made him wreck, what did he do?
We have seen in places where collation was disrupted, not just in Kano. In Bauchi, for instance, in the local government is currently under contention.
Yes.
Tafawa Balewa constituency. You have seen there a governor go to court to try and stop the collation process. INEC is not, I think the APC is also accusing INEC, or is it the PDP accusing INEC of, following one set of rules in Adamawa and following another set of rules in Bauchi State. I mean, it would seem that these allegations come as they affect each political party.
You know the funny thing.
But the question I was posing, sorry to interrupt you, the question I posed to you, which brought up this rigging allegation, you said it could be rigged before the election, it could be rigged after the election, it could be rigged during collation, was a simple question as to what the elections, the elections that took place in Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's polling unit, were they rigged? That's what I asked you.
Out of 129,000.
You have given examples of how
I've told you that elections
before elections and after elections. Did he
I don't know what you are trying to get to.
Why wouldn't you answer the questions straight?
Allow us to tender our evidence in court. I don't want to preempt what the court is saying, but I can say boldly that if there are courageous, just, and God-fearing justices in this country, that this election will be upturned and Atiku Abubakar would be declared the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as it had happened in Kenya. And I will give you an example of what had happened in Kenya. Election was conducted. Raila Odinga's lawyers, the opposition candidate who was purported to have lost election, went to court and approached to court to get certain documents from INEC, from their own INEC in Kenya. And the electoral body in Kenya started playing hanky-panky and refused to release those documents to him. Unknown to them, we are living in a technological world. He has captured everything that was transmitted according to electronically. So foolishly, when they refused him access to the documents, even though granted by court, he now approached the court and told the court that he has been refused. I'm coming. Mope, Nigerians should know.
Sir, you have to
Nigerians should know.
Hurry to hop a little, because I'm sure
Nigerians should know. You are wasting time. You are wasting time. You are wasting my time.
If I may.
I am educating Nigerians. That is why I'm still alive. To continue to educate Nigerians
and I'm sure they appreciate
on their rights to know.
And I'm sure they appreciate it. But
I think you have been a lawyer to the APC. You don't want me to talk. Just like them.
Anyone who is interested in the case of Kenya, of course, has the information online. But if I may draw on that example of Kenya, you saw what happened. The Supreme Court eventually ruled in favor of the opposition, which was a courageous thing to do nonetheless.
That is why I'm saying if there are courageous judges in Nigeria,
there were consequences,
and if there are God-fearing judges in Nigeria,
you haven't quite let me put my question to you, sir. There were consequences in Kenya.
What were the consequences?
Violence did break out in Kenya.
So you wanted that to go into violence before we forced the court to do that?
No. Violence broke out after the Supreme Court judgment upturning the elections.
It was induced by those whose election was annulled.
Okay. Do you think we'll be able to take whatever consequence, be it good or bad, that comes out? I'm sure that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has confidence in the courts, and he believes that they are just judges. That's the reason why he's gone to court. Whatever the consequences, if they rule in his favor or they don't, do you think he will be able to take it?
Let me tell you something. Peace anywhere in the world is premeditated on justice. And if the courts do justice, it doesn't matter what happens after all. It is a price we have to pay.
I think that it's a fine place to leave it. I have to thank you for coming.
For doing what?
On Sunrise Daily, for coming to our program this morning.
No,
and sharing your thoughts with us.
Please, next time, don't invite me.
Mr. Buba Galadima is a spokesperson of the Atiku Campaign Organization. The program continues in a moment. Please stay with us.